of the Brahmin lady of the Vihara clan. There he sat down in the appointed seat. Then with her own hands the Brahmin lady served and satisfied the Venerable Udai with various kinds of delicious food. When the Venerable Udai had finished eating and had put away his bowl, the Brahmin lady put on her sandals, sat on a high seat, covered her head and told him, "Preach the Dhamma, ascetic." Having said there will be an occasion for that, sister, he rose from his seat and departed. A second time that so here this lady asked the Venerable Udai to give a Dhamma talk, but Venerable Udai said on a later occasion and departed. Why did he depart? Because the lady didn't show enough respect by using her sandals and sitting on a high seat and covering her head. The second time that Brahmin youth approached the Venerable Udai and received Dhamma teaching, and he was very respectful, and then he came and told the lady again, "See now, madam, you should know that the ascetic Udai teaches a Dhamma that is good in the beginning, good in the middle, and good in the end. With the right meaning and phrasing, he reveals a holy life that is perfectly complete and pure." And she said, "In such a way, young man, you keep on praising the ascetic Udai. But when I told him, 'Preach the Dhamma, ascetic,' he said, 'There will be an occasion for that, sister,' and he rose from his seat and departed." And the youth said, "That, madam, was because you put on your sandals, sat down on a high seat, covered your head, and told him, 'Preach the Dhamma, ascetic.' For these worthies respect and revere the Dhamma." And then she said, stop here for a moment. So here the youth, the young man, told his teacher that you didn't show enough respect. You were wearing your sandals and you sat on the highest seat and covered your head. And these venerable, they respect the Dhamma because the Dhamma is so worthy of respect, and that if somebody behaves like this, does not show enough respect for the Dhamma, the monk will not teach. And then she said, "In that case, young man, invite the ascetic Udai in my name for tomorrow's meal." "Yes, madam," he replied. Then he went to the Venerable Udai and invited him, and the Venerable Udai consented by silence. And similarly, the same thing happened. He came and had his meal, the lady served him and all that. When the Venerable Udai had finished eating and had put away his bowl, the Brahmin lady removed her sandals, sat down on a low seat, uncovered her head, and said to him, "Venerable Sir, what do the Arahants maintain must exist for there to be pleasure? And what is it that the Arahants maintain must cease to exist for there to be no pleasure and pain?" And the Venerable said, "Sister, the Arahants maintain that when the eye exists, there is pleasure and pain. And when the eye does not exist, there is no pleasure and pain. The Arahants maintain that when the ear exists, there is pleasure and pain. And when the ear does not exist, there is no pleasure and pain. Similarly, for the nose, tongue, body, and mind." When this was said, the Brahmin lady of the Vihara clan said to the Venerable Udai, "Magnificent Venerable Sir, magnificent Venerable Sir, the Dhamma has been made clear in many ways by Venerable Udai. As though he were turning upright what had been turned upside down, revealing what was hidden, showing the way to one who was lost, or holding up a lamp in the dark for those with eyesight to see forms. I go for refuge to the Blessed One, to the Dhamma, and to the Bhikkhu Sangha. From today, let Master Udai remember me as a lay follower who has gone for refuge for life." That's the end of the sutta. So when the second time, she invited this Venerable Udai. After the meal, she knew what to do. She took off her sandals, uncovered her head, sat on a low seat, and then asked this question. And then the Venerable Udai explained, for there to be pleasure and pain, there must be the 6 sense organs. When you have the 6 sense organs, then you have contact. When you have contact, then the feeling arises. So the feeling can be pleasant or painful. So similarly for all the other sense bases. So if there's no 6 sense doors, there's no contact, so there's no pleasure and pain, no feeling. So she was impressed by this, and she took refuge in the Triple Gem, and also lay follower of the Venerable Udai. The next sutta, 35.135, the Buddha said, monks, it is a gain for you, it is well gained by you that you have obtained the opportunity for living the holy life. I have seen monks, the hell named contacts 6-fold base. There, whatever form one sees with the eye is undesirable, never desirable, unlovely, never lovely, disagreeable, never agreeable. Similarly, whatever sounds one hears with the ear, whatever odor one smells, whatever taste one savors, whatever touch one feels, whatever thoughts one cognizes is undesirable, never desirable, unlovely, never lovely, disagreeable, never agreeable. It is a gain for you, monks. I stop here for a moment. So here the Buddha is saying that a monk who practices the holy life is very good, is very beneficial, because the Buddha says he has seen the hell where all the 6-fold contacts are painful. Whatever you see is frightening, painful. Whatever sounds you hear also frightening, painful. Whatever smells, etc. Even the mind, on top of the physical suffering, even the mental torture these beings in hell experience. So because of that, the Buddha says, if we live the holy life, that is really good, because we are moving away from the direction of hell. If you don't live the holy life, and you don't attain, especially if you don't attain the stream entry and become an Arya, the chances that you still go down to hell. And the Buddha continued, it is a gain for you, monks, it is well gained by you that you have obtained the opportunity for living the holy life. I have seen monks, the heaven named contacts 6-fold base. There, whatever form one sees with the eye is desirable, never undesirable, lovely, never unlovely, agreeable, never disagreeable. Similarly, whatever sound one hears, whatever odor, taste, touch, and thoughts one cognizes is desirable, never undesirable, lovely, never unlovely, agreeable, never disagreeable. It's a gain for you, monks. It is well gained by you that you have obtained the opportunity for living the holy life. So the second part, the Buddha says, he has seen the heavens where if you are in that heaven, all your 6 sense bases, all the contacts are lovely, desirable, agreeable. In other words, you will be very, very happy there. So the Buddha is hinting that if you practice the holy life sincerely, you will be able to attain rebirth in that heaven where you enjoy life for a long time. So this is just an incentive. It's an Indian belief that if you become a monk, practice the holy life, that heaven is assured for you. 35.136, the Buddha said, monks, devas and humans delight in forms, take delight in forms, rejoice in forms. With the change, fading away and cessation of forms, devas and humans dwell in suffering. Devas and humans delight in sounds, delight in odors, in taste, in touch, in thoughts. With the change, fading away and cessation of these sense objects, devas and humans dwell in suffering. Stop here for a moment. So, heavenly beings and humans, we enjoy life through the six senses, sensual pleasures in terms of forms, sounds, smells, taste, touch and thoughts. But because these sense objects are impermanent, they will change and fade away, cease. So when this change happens, then we will suffer. But monks, the Tathagata, the Arahant, Sammasambuddha, is understood as they really are, the origin and passing away, the gratification, danger and the escape. In the case of forms, he does not take delight in forms, does not take delight in forms, does not rejoice in forms. With the change, fading away and cessation of forms, the Tathagata dwells happily. He is understood as they really are, the origin and passing away, gratification, danger and escape. In the case also of sounds, odors, taste, touch, thoughts, he does not delight in the six sense objects, does not take delight in the six sense objects, does not rejoice in the six sense objects. With the change, fading away and cessation of the six sense objects, the Tathagata dwells happily. That is what the Blessed One said. Having said this, the Fortunate One, the teacher, further said, forms, sounds, odors, taste, touch and thoughts, desirable, lovely, agreeable, so long as it said they are. These are considered happiness by the world with its devas, but where these cease, that they consider suffering. The noble ones have seen as happiness the ceasing of identity. This view of those who clearly see runs counter to the entire world. What others speak of as happiness, that the noble ones say is suffering. What others speak of as suffering, that the noble ones know as bliss. Behold this Dhamma, hard to comprehend. Here the foolish are bewildered. For those with blocked minds it is obscure. Sheer darkness for those who do not see. But for the good it is disclosed. It is light here for those who see. The dullards, unskilled in the Dhamma, don't understand it in its presence. This Dhamma isn't easily understood by those afflicted with lust for existence, who flow along the stream of existence, deeply mired in Mara's realm. Who else apart from the noble ones are able to understand this state? When they have rightly known that state, the taintless ones are fully quenched. So, the noble disciples, Aryans, they do not take delight in the sense objects, worldly happiness. So when they change, because the six sense objects, in fact everything in the world must change. So when there's change, we don't suffer. So what do we take happiness in? We take happiness in our mind. We look for happiness within, and that happiness will not change. If you depend on outside things will change. So the Buddha also says that this Dhamma is very hard to comprehend. Foolish people are bewildered, cannot understand at all, sheer darkness for them. But for the